Hi, everybody. Jack O'Malley here with you on a Wednesday night, and it has been a wild and woolly couple of days. A lot has been happening. Today, I got into the office a little after 6 a.m. I am recording this a little bit before 6 p.m. At 6, I have a Zoom conference with MDOT on a local issue that needs to be discussed, and then I've got a meeting at 7 p.m. Woohoo! So I'm going to hit on a lot of things here today because a lot has happened, and I'm sure we'll be discussing these more in the days ahead. But I did want to touch base on these. Today, the House passed out a supplemental budget dealing with some of the federal CARES money and whatnot directed towards COVID relief. Now, if you listen to the governor and some of the folks that gave floor speeches from the other side today, we're just doing terrible things to people, and we're holding back money and just being terrible to the people of Michigan. But today we gave approval to $4.2 billion supplemental. That doesn't sound like we're holding back money, does it? 4.2, it just might not be the way the governor wants things done, which I think is all right, because the governor has been doing things her way for the last year, and this is the way to get her to talk to us. So 4.2 billion in spending, nearly 1.2 billion in federal funding that would limit the pandemic powers of the governor. The legislation includes 1.9 billion in education funding and 2.3 billion for unemployment, property taxes, and state health department. Does that sound like we're holding back money? No, we're appropriating money. Maybe not all of it, right? But, oh, they're terrible. You're going to kill people because you're not giving us every dang dollar. No, we're going to appropriate it as it sees fit and as it's needed, right? Because I'll be honest with you, again, you can agree or disagree. The governor, in my opinion, isn't working with us, and she hasn't proven to me that she knows exactly what she's doing. I know there's some of you out there, again, who just think the governor is doing 100% right, and I'm terrible, and my colleagues are terrible for not giving her the keys to the kingdom. Well, that's the way it's supposed to be. We appropriate and got to deal with it. Now, there's going to be some negotiations. We're sending this to her, so there might be some tweaks there. But on the other hand, we're not just going to say, roll over, scratch my belly. No. All right. The governor and her team are acting like they did something fantastic. Again, they're several months behind, but family members are now allowed to see loved ones in nursing homes, provided the facility in question hasn't had any COVID cases in the last 14 days, and the visitors who come in have to have negative COVID tests. They're encouraging communal dining and that sort of thing. Restaurants and bars can now open to 50%. Oh, good. And 100 people. But now the curfew has been moved back to 11 p.m., but it was at 10, it's now to 11. I'm assuming that's because of this new British variant. It might not hit till 11, so we got to be out of there by 11. Stupid. Restaurants and bars, 50%, 100 people, 11. Not real, the Licensed Beverage Association, not real happy, because again, they're saying with that 100-person cap, if you have a bigger establishment, you're still maybe not at 50% capacity. So again, here's the governor and her team just deciding arbitrarily that this is a good idea. Restaurant and Lodging Association welcomed the expansion of occupancy for the restaurant banquet spaces. They said, but the 6-week duration now through April 19th is too long. So again, the governor, if we're supposed to cheer and applaud, oh, thank you, you've let us go to 50%, Madam Governor. No, thanks. I got a comment on a op-ed by one of my colleagues, Floor Leader Ben Frederick from Shiawassee County. He was talking about our vaccine distribution. Now, if you remember, last fall, there was all kinds of how terrible our vaccine rollout is because the previous administration was terrible. Well, now the new administration is, and everything is rosy. All right? But now I'm hearing from my local health departments, it's like, hey, we sure could use a lot more vaccine. I'm talking to my colleagues, And we're saying, why aren't we getting any more vaccine? Well, Rep. Frederick's op-ed goes on to say, after not issuing guidance for months on vaccine strategies, a late January directive from the Whitmer administration announced that the vaccine shipments were to be weighed toward counties based on a social vulnerability index. The index includes some sensible factors such as population, age 65 and older, yet also incorporates more than a dozen other factors like residents with high school diplomas, vehicle ownership, single-parent households, and the ability to speak English. Science, I go on from this op-ed, science has not shown us that COVID-19 picks on victims based on how much they make, the language they speak, or whether they have a high school diploma. I thought we had a 1A, 1B, if you're in this. I thought we were all in this together, Madam Governor. So this explains why some of this rollout has been spotty. They're incorporating a social vulnerability index. Well, come on, people. I thought, again, if you're vulnerable, you're vulnerable. Let's get you the dosage. But again, the governor and her medical team, following some science and data, I do not know. But probably the biggest story of the week is what appears to be hush money. It was disclosed that the Whitmer administration gave 3 former folks a separation package. Now, the governor says, oh, but this is normal. No, when somebody leaves or you can them, you give them severance, couple weeks, something like that. If they leave you, it's 2 weeks notice and then they're gone, right? But if you can them, you give them their back vacation days and all that, and maybe a couple of weeks, money so that they can go about their business. Well, Director Gordon, in the still of the night, dark of the night, just leaves. Nobody's saying why. Why is Director Gordon just all of a sudden gone? Can't tell you. He was given $155,000, 9 months salary, to walk away, and he's not allowed to speak of it. Or vice versa. They're not allowed to speak of it. Well, that was bad. But then we find out his aide, close aide, was also signed this non-disclosure comment. And she was given more of that 2-3 week, maybe a month type of salary, $11,000. Again, a lot of money, but okay, that one. But she signed this document that says, oh. But then, those are bad. And then to add icing to the cake, Steve Gray, the director of the UIA, who just gone, right? And you notice he got paid $85,000 and signed one of these. Yep, I'll keep my mouth shut. Why is that? Now, for just a moment, let's assume Madam Governor was just being generous with our tax dollars. $155,000 here, $11,000 there, $85,000 there. But why, to at least 2 of these aides, and one who might have been in on everything that was going on, why do they have this no discussion clause thrown in there? It really is curious. At the very least, the optics stink. So it'll be very interesting to see how this moves forward. We are following up on it. I believe there will be some oversight hearings. I know that Steve Johnson, the chair of our oversight committee, has asked for copies of these letters so that we can see what was done, and then move from there. And if we have to subpoena some of these people, I believe we will ask for that authority. I'm on the oversight committee. I'd really love to get these guys back in front of us, because in the summer oversight committee, Director Gordon was an obnoxious son of a gun, and Steve Gray was, I believe, way out of his element. So it'll be very interesting. And I remember asking Steve Gray, do you have an emergency plan here? I was in constant contact with the governor's office. There is something rotten in Denmark. Now, I know the keyboard pounders, of course there is, Jack. But again, the people who think the governor is just the best. Let's look at this fairly and honestly. 3 former high-level people dismissed into the cover of darkness with a non-disclosure clause. If this was anywhere else, you'd be saying, what's up with that? But if you are infatuated with our governor, don't overlook it, because it is a question that needs to be asked, and we will. All right, lots more on this in the days and weeks to come. There's also a lawsuit involving Governor Whitmer and the nursing home situation. I'll talk more about that on Friday. I do have to keep going, and we're at about my limit. So a lot going on, but specifically, let's keep an eyeball on this hush money. Exit package that was given to these 3 folks that sort of kind of left in a questionable situation. It's all right. We'll see. We'll keep our eyes on it. Good night.